It is my favorite time of year coming up, and that is the beginning of a new school year. Now, if you're starting nursing school or you're even planning to go into nursing school, you're going to want to keep yourself organized and set yourself up for success at the beginning of the school year. Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Lisa Chappell. I'm a doctor of nursing practice, a professor of nursing, and studying to have my board certification as a health and wellness nurse coach. I make videos for nurses, students, and caregivers on how to become more empowered and resilient. Let's get started. I've been using a system for keeping myself organized for the past 5 years or so, and that is bullet journaling. Now, I definitely recommend bullet journaling. It's fantastic. You can really start to develop a system for yourself for keeping organized. But since I've been bullet journaling, I have found that there are some things that are missing, some key components that can really help keep me organized as I am planning my school year. So I'm going to give you 5 tips on staying organized this year as you begin nursing school. My first tip is to develop a system. I don't just mean having a planner or having some place, a notebook for each class where you write things down. I'm talking about a system where you take a look at your calendar for the entire year and you start to plug in where you can, the classes that you have, some key information that you're going to need about those classes, but then also to schedule in time where you're still able to take care of yourself. You're still able to maintain a home or keep your room clean or your dorm room clean or still go to the gym and get some exercise. So it's important to develop a system where you can schedule in all these things that you need to accomplish. And I know it is super overwhelming when you're starting nursing school with all these different classes, and it is so easy to just get sucked in to, okay, my life is over and all I'm going to be doing is schoolwork. That's not necessarily true, but you're going to have to do a lot of planning in order to get there. So a couple systems I recommend. So I do recommend the bullet journal system, and I'll kind of show my last bullet journal, and this was a fancy one that I had. And what I do recommend about it is a couple of things. So one, you develop a system where you have a future log. So this is basically where you can just use a ruler and draw out some lines, and this is a dot grid journal, so you can use really any blank journal, but right in the front you're going to create a future log. And so this is just writing all the months of the year, and you're going to write in anytime you know that something's coming up for that particular month, you're going to write it down here. Now the bullet journal system has a key where a dot would represent a task that you need to complete, and then you're able to mark that task off when it's done. The other component about a bullet journal that I like is that the pages are numbered, and then you create an index. So this is where you would write down where you might have written an important note about a particular topic, and then you're able to scroll forward and find that particular note. Now, I will say bullet journaling can be it can get you off track because you'll start to decorate the pages, and you learn about French doors that you can make and buy stickers to make it pretty, which I love doing, but then my life started to be my planning time was that I needed to decorate my journal, and I was spending more time doing that than I was actually planning my day. Some key things that I did learn from bullet journaling that I've really carried forward with me are that anytime I have a project, that I will write out that project and on a completely blank spread. So I would find a section of my journal that's completely blank and write out, let's say it's a project that I have for school, and I'm going to write out the assignment and then brain dump everything that I need to complete about that assignment. And that has been a valuable part of bullet journaling that I've really has helped me to get organized, because then anytime I take notes about that particular project, I can put it in the index, and then I can go and find where I wrote my notes about that particular project. Then my next recommendation is to spend a little bit of time at the beginning of every class writing down important information that you can reference later, that you're going to be looking for again and again and again. So that will include the name of the course. So let's say it's NR 602 or something like that. They usually have these arbitrary numbers. And so you're going to want to write that down somewhere. And then what does that mean? It's Introduction to Research, or it is Foundations for the Profession of Nursing. So write this down somewhere. The other things you're going to want to write down are the name of the professor and the contact information for that professor, the location of the class, what dates you meet, and main assignments you'll be completing, as well as the due dates for those assignments. At the beginning of every class, you need to have that information in a place where you can easily find it and access it and refer back to it over and over again. My third tip is to create a calendar of due dates and a basic outline of when you will work on your schoolwork. This could be using Google Calendars. Maybe your school uses Outlook. Maybe you're going to draw out a calendar each month and write that information down. With the bullet journal, you could just make a list of all the dates and then write in when things are due, and then writing out tasks for that particular month. I've also used a digital journal, and in this case, let me pull up a calendar. So I kind of ran into the same issue. It's a little easier to decorate using a digital planner. However, I would still run into the issue that I felt like it needed to be decorated, and I was spending a lot of time doing decoration versus actually doing what I needed to do. If you have a calendar where you write out all the major events, clinical that you may have, fun school events that are going on, to put it all on the calendar, even weekend events, stuff that you're doing with your friends, to put it on a calendar where you can reference back to it at a glance. My next tip for staying organized during nursing school is to form habits. Focus on forming daily habits as well as weekly habits. So, for example, a daily habit might be that you get up at a specific time every day. And you're going to have to work with yourself, work with your schedule, and then work with your own body clock in terms of when is a reasonable time to wake up. If that's 6 o'clock in the morning, and then you have a morning routine that you do that involves self-care, and maybe taking some time to do something enjoyable, like going for a walk, playing with your dog, reading for 10 minutes a book that you're really interested in. And it doesn't have to take a long time, but it's really important to form these habits for self-care starting first thing in the morning so that you can set yourself up for success. In terms of weekly habits, maybe there's time that weekly you are setting up a habit that you're going to focus your time studying on a particular topic. And so maybe on Mondays is the day you really drive home and do homework for your foundations course. And then Tuesdays you work on clinical activities. Wednesday, maybe work on group projects. And try to block off certain times each day where you tend to every single week dedicate time to that particular topic. And this has to be a very flexible system where it changes each semester and each time new things are thrown at you. When you're in nursing school, you have clinical dates, you have compliance that you need to get up to date, you have facilities coming at you asking for you to come and do training, and you may have little notice as to when you have to show up for these particular activities, which is why it's so important then to be really very, very flexible, but then still making an effort to get these things done that you need to get done so that you don't fall into a pattern of procrastination. Now, in nursing school, studying for exams is another big one. And so maybe you have 3 days a week where you focus on studying. And that means reviewing notes from the week before, reading over your notes, reviewing PowerPoints, however you learn. Maybe you're listening to an audiobook of your textbook. However you learn to absorb information, the idea is to have repetition where you're continually exposing yourself to that information so that when it comes time for the exam, you're not cramming the night before. So build in some time for studying throughout the week. My last tip is to use templates for yourself. And I'm so excited about a new system that I've discovered for keeping my life organized using a project management system. So in this case, I use what's called Asana for project management. Now, this is a free software online that you can set up for yourself for free, and you don't need to upgrade to the newest edition, but you can download this program and it's in the cloud, and so you can use Google Chrome, be able to access your to-do list, any projects that you have coming up, copy any templates that you've already set up for yourself. So I'm going to show you my Asana, and you can be thinking about how you might adapt that and set up a system for yourself. So pretty much Asana is actually replacing my bullet journal system, and now I just use my notebooks for journaling and taking notes rather than trying to track all of my tasks as well. So let's hop on over into my Asana and I will show you. All right, so this is the desktop version of Asana. There is also a tablet and a phone mobile version, so you can use the app to continually input tasks. You can set up projects, and so this is something that you could do for each course that you have. So let me go to the home menu here, and you can tag your tasks, and then you can also set up projects. And this is a super flexible system that can really help you get organized for nursing school. So here you can click Get Started. You will be prompted to create an account. You just need an email to get started, and then you're going to go ahead and sign up. The plan will include unlimited tasks and projects, unlimited storage, and different ways to view your projects. All right, and this is kind of the main view. Now it'll show you tasks that are due soon, and then also your favorites, and then recent projects. I've set up these teams for myself, and this is included in the version when you set up a professional email. So for example, I have my own website, and then I have a professional email related to that website. So I have this ability to create teams. If you use a regular Gmail, you'll still have a lot of capabilities, but then you won't be able to create these what are called teams over here. All right, so what I'm going to show you here is a couple of things. So first of all, I'll show my tasks view, and this shows you a calendar of tasks that are coming up, that are due, and they're all color coded. This is just a really nice way to stay organized. So for example, I wanted to paint my office. I created a new project, and then you can add tasks to the project. the project, I set the color and the icon for the project. And in this case, I was painting my office pink. And so then I made a list of all of the tasks that I needed to complete for this project. Okay, so let me show you a template within Asana. And I can make more videos about it because it's something I'm really very excited about. So for example, I created a template here because twice a year we create a newsletter. So I just brainstorm any tasks, and you can just click on add task, or you can click right here and add a task that you need to do. In this case, I need to input pinning speakers. And then I can click on this task and I can assign it to myself, and then I can assign a due date for the task. And in this case, since it's a template, I'm not going to input a due date. All right, so let me show you an example of creating a template. So if you're starting from scratch, creating a template, then you would click on this plus button over here, and I'm just going to click new project, and then I'll click on blank project. Now I'm going to name this project. So I'm going to write template nursing school class. Okay, don't worry about this information here, and right away I'm just going to set it up as a list view, and then I'm going to create this project. So now I can come up here and I can click on set an icon and a color. So maybe I want this to be pink, and then since it's related to a class, I'm going to put a little computer icon. Okay, and so now I'm just going to start brain dumping, and anything that I know that I need to do every time I have a new class, I'm just going to start writing it here. So let's do professor contact information. Let's do class name. Let's do location. We need to know assignments, and we'll get this information once we know the assignments for that particular class. We need to know the start date of the class and an end date of the class. We need to know, does it have a clinical component? And then let's think about, does it have labs and skills that you need to perform? So you're making a list of all the different things that you can think of. Every time you take a nursing school class, this is the information that you need to know. So a textbook that you might have, and are there textbooks that you use frequently? Then you're going to put those in here. So then you can create sections if you want. And so if I were to add a section, maybe it's important information. And then I can drag those tasks into these different ones. So here's a trick. If you click and then you click, you're going to hold down the shift key and then click on, if you want to select multiple tasks at the same time. So location, and then you'll let go. And these two are selected, and then I can move these two tasks together under important information. So then assignments are always going to be, that might be its own section. And so maybe I'll create a section for assignments. And then I can move these particular tasks underneath. Start date, end date. So every class, you'll start to notice patterns where every class you take is going to have the same basic information. So then when you have another class, what you can do is come up here and you can click duplicate. So now this will duplicate all of the information from this, but then let's say this is for NR 101, Nursing 101, and that it's foundations. So then I can create a new project, and it will go ahead and create this new project for me, and then I can find it here. And so then all that same information is going to copy over, and then I can be specific to this particular class. So I'm going to assign everything to myself, and this is where it's helpful to use that. You click on the first task, hold down Shift, then you're not clicking on anything else, you're just going to click on the bottom task. Let's try that one more time. Click on the first task, and then go down, click on the last task. It will highlight all of them. So I'm going to assign all of them to myself, and then I can come in here and write the due dates. So this class, let's say it starts on August 23rd. Let's say the end date is October 13th, okay? And so now that's going to show up on my calendar for this particular class. I can write in the clinical dates, and this has the ability where I can click in here and then I can go ahead and create subtasks related to clinical. So it's a very, very flexible system and tool. And then you can view this in different formats. So here you have this an untitled section, and we can move these over into sections, but it gives you a board view. Timeline you have to pay for, but I don't think it's necessary. And then a calendar view. And this will show you, and let's go ahead and turn weekends on, and then you can click these three little dots and save this layout as the default layout. And you can see here we've got the start date, the end date for this particular class. And then you can plug in all the assignments, you can plug in all of the projects, and then you can set specific days for when you're going to complete those projects. So this is a really cool system that I would highly recommend for keeping yourself organized during nursing school. Okay, so those are my main 5 tips for keeping yourself organized as you begin nursing school. I hope that this is helpful to you. If this video helped you in some way, please give it a like. Also click that subscribe button. I do make new videos every Wednesday. Take care, and I'm wishing you a wonderful start to your school year in nursing school. Take care.